I don't know why the countdown decided to loop itself, but apparently it did. Good morning, and of course, hail Saturn to all of you. It's your boy Raven, and thank goodness. Ah, hope you got your cup of tea, because I do, and boy, it's a great feeling being back in your face like I never went away. And of course, I never did because we've been doing tarot videos all week, and we've been hanging out on Twitter and everything else all week. It looped 4 times. Holy crap! that is never a good thing. It looped 4 times. Jeez, what a clusterfuck! Like seriously. Oh wow. So okay, um, I do have something I'm going to have to say a little bit later once we get everybody in the room. Once we get more people and everything, I do have an announcement I need to make because it's super important. And what I wanted, like, I am not the kind of guy that does not like to be transparent. So I really need to make that little announcement later. But I do need to make one announcement, and it needs to be right here, right now. And let's just go with this and see how. Nah. Oh yeah, let's share a screen here. I want to show you guys something. Okay, here we go. The multiple windows here. Let's do a window. Now let's do entire screen. Okay, right here. Brand new speakyourmindhere.com. It underwent a soft launch last night. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm loving it. They finally got a dark mode. Hell yeah. It's working a lot faster than it did. However, we lost all contacts, all material. Anything we posted is now, of course, gone. Did that even show up? Screen sharing was canceled. Okay. Well, let's do that again. Growing pains, ladies and gentlemen. Growing pains. That's what's going on. So we're going to share that screen again. Hopefully this time it works. Okay, so entire screen. Well, yeah, we'll share this. Here we go. Boom. There it is right there. Brand new speakyourmindhere.com. Sorry, still battling sinuses here. But this is another one of my little hangouts, which I think you can find in the you can find in my link tree. I think I put it in there. I can't remember everything I put in my link tree, but totally free speech oriented. Very cool place to be. And there we go. But it's a very cool place to be. It's one of the places I think your live chat is deleting and clearing itself in real time. Really? Boom, it pop back up. Okay. Yeah, that tends to happen on YouTube. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things that I've seen it. It's not just my stream. It happens on others as well. Sometimes it just freezes up, and then you got to refresh and do it all again. But anyway, brand new speakyourmindhere.com. I don't know exactly when it launched, but I was able to log in this morning. I had to put up my profile picture again, my ISYalimeter banner. I had to do that one again. Those are my two kind of default settings there. I dig that vibe. So yeah, there we go. All right. So actually, this is what I wanted to show right here. Live chat is deleting itself and clearing itself in real time, but it did not show initially. It didn't. There is one thing I do have to mention. I want to say it was probably about a couple of weeks ago, um, on the Basic Experts channel. John was talking about, like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was dungeon masters and game masters and how they do things. And this was a discussion that went on. Who shall not? Oh yeah, yeah. I do remember seeing that. But the discussion was about tabletop RPGs and of course dungeon mastering styles, game mastering styles. And one of the things that was mentioned, which I didn't know about, was that there was a certain publisher who had a sale on the game Modern Age. I know about Modern Age because I've heard it mentioned, but I was on the RPG Elite uh, channel, and Servant of Shiloh, the host, was talking about various systems that they're setting agnostic. You can set them anywhere at any time, and they were good for beginners. And it came up because every time someone, like when people talk to me about their role playing games, they're like, it's always D&D. So that tends to get people interested. And I've had to mention this to several people. Um, RPGs are not all D&D. They're not all going to be fantasy. They're not all going to be that sort of thing. I do have an inordinate amount of fantasy RPGs and settings. When I say inordinate, I mean in terms of my total collection, it makes up the biggest part of it. But Modern Age is one of those that is setting agnostic. It's apparently very easy to learn, and it's a great doorway for new players. Because the first thing, and I agree with Shiloh over this, the first thing you should ask any kind of like brand new someone who's brand new to tabletop RPGs is, well, what settings do you like? Like, and even if they just draw a blank, okay, what favorite movie? What is it right now? You know, you can easily take that person and you like let me just pick a setting out of kind of the clear blue nowhere here. Oh, you dig Johnny Mnemonic. That okay. The CGI doesn't hold up, obviously, but good movie. Keanu Reeves was pretty awesome in that movie, especially where he freaked out toward the little past the midway part. That was funny. Harold and Kumar. Okay, you take Harold and Kumar. Guess what? I'm going to get you and a friend of your choosing. The both of you are going to play Harold and Kumar. We're all going to go to White Castle. We're going to escape from Guantanamo Bay. Shit like that. It's going to be fun. You can, and a good GM will be able to do that. A really good GM will be able to take your favorite movie. Oh, you guys want to play Cheech and Chong? Okay, well, we could do that. A whole series of just two stoners, kind of like getting into multiple adventures and whatnot. We could do that. Yeah, absolutely. So the way that it was recommended to be done was there's Savage Worlds, which of course a lot of people tend to use that for fantasy settings. There's the Cipher system, which I have, but I haven't looked into it yet. And then there was Modern Age. And I kind of thought Modern Age looked really good. Modern Age is easily relatable to a brand new player. So when I heard about this sale, I was like, let's go have a look. I went and I looked, and of course, I could get 3 of these hardcover books that were beautiful for about, I think I paid less than $30. And of course, I selected the 2-day shipping because it was the cheapest. That was on a Monday night. I ended up getting it on a Thursday, so definitely not 2-day shipping. and it showed up by surprise. I never got a notification that had been sent. I wasn't expecting it. I was just kind of like, I was actually expecting an email first because that's typically how they're done. You order books, they send you an email with a tracking number. That way, if you're gone, you can arrange for somebody to, keep the porch pirates at bay. One day I come home after a particularly hard day of work about a week ago. There's a box sitting on my doorstep, and I'm thinking, what is this? And I picked it up. I came in, got myself situated, opened this box. It's Modern Age. It's all three of the books that I purchased. I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, they're in pristine shape. They're very nice. But the one thing I did not do was I didn't take a picture of them and post them to my Twitter under the hashtag mail call. Like, it literally just escaped my mind. But I was like, yeah, okay, so Servant of Shiloh over on RPG Elite says that this is a really good system, so I'm going to really look into this. Not 2 days later, 2 days, there is a video, RPG Elite. He purchased the game as well. Purchased it on sale. In fact, this was around Labor Day, as a matter of fact. Purchased it before, he purchased his before I purchased mine. And he got his after I got mine. He posted the email exchange between him and the company. And the long and short of it was, they let his package languish in a warehouse for 2 days before they actually sent it out. It was picked, it was packed, it was ready to go, and it sat for 2 days. They did not address how to make it right. They gave him the shipping policy, which he compared to shipping policies from everyone else. And guess what? They let him down. He actually had the box. He was like, this is the package it's in. I'm sending it back. So he sent it back. And from that point, yeah, wasn't it? That was terrible. That was the most awful thing I had ever seen. So I am privy to 2 other things that they've done super wrong. And past that point, I am not in any way, shape, or form going to be promoting Modern Age. I have looked into those books. I like them. But would I ever do like a live, like actual play? Absolutely not. That is just not going to happen. And the fact that I think they knew he was a YouTuber, because if I'm not mistaken, and Cal, you can kind of verify or correct me if I'm wrong, but he actually mentioned that he had an audience. And they still just sat on him like bureaucrats. I mean, whoever he was interacting with, totally acting like a bureaucrat. Come on. That was terrible. But there are 2 other things that I'm privy to. I'm not at liberty to discuss them, but I can tell you this. It's bad enough that I had been looking at The Expanse. I was going to order that game. It's not going to be ordered now. So no Expanse. They may, and look, I'm gonna say this: their writing team does pretty well. Like I said, I've looked into Modern Age. It looks pretty good. Would I play it in a private game? Sure. I've already purchased it, but moving forward, there will never be another purchase from Green Ronin Games ever again. I'm on a personal boycott. I'm letting you guys know, so that if you're looking at Modern Age or The Expanse or something like that, take a deeper look into that company and understand that when you choose 2-day shipping, it's not 2 days. That is false advertisement. So, as opposed to all the other shady shit they've done. So, Green Ronin, the company, has joined my list of companies that I will no longer ever purchase from. At least not until they start making things right. Once they start making things right, then that's a completely different story. Then I'll purchase from them again. We can resume like nothing ever happened. But it's like the old saying, let's bury the hatchet, but I'm gonna leave that handle sticking out just in case I need it again. You know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was completely ridiculous how they acted, and Servant's right. It would have cost them absolutely nothing to send them a PDF, a digital file. Was it costing you electricity on your server to run? I mean, even what Goodman Games. Um, every time I've ever purchased like a module from my local gaming store, and I purchased a few adventures for like DCC and MCC. They come with a drive-through RPG download code. Maybe they jack the price up, maybe like $5-10, you know. But yeah, you get that now you got a PDF, and I think the great thing about that is if you've got people that want to play and they just don't have access to the book for whatever reason, you can throw them a copy of the PDF and say, okay, don't be sharing that. You know, this is me kind of providing that to you so you can play, and you just kind of leave it at that. You know, it's, I mean, arguably you could go with Basic Fantasy and just get PDFs for free. You know, and the best part is they tell you don't purchase this book. Go to the website, download the PDFs. They're absolutely free. So I can tell you right now, Green Ronin. I bought Mutant Chronicles from Mephidius on sale, which was got a great deal on that. They're canceling that line, so I did want the physical book since it was only like what $6, and then another $6 for the entire collection in PDF. I was like, yeah, I'll take both. If it's cheap, it's definitely for me. So, and if I don't like it, well, then it just is what it is. I can salvage something from it. Yeah, I'll be extracting my money out of it one way or the other. Catalyst Games also joins that list because of the way they handled Blaine Pardoe. And Josh, I know you're in the room. I know you. If you haven't read any of Blaine Pardoe's material, I know he tends to lean very conservative. I don't know if you're familiar with him on that, but he also wrote for BattleTech for Catalyst Games, and Catalyst Games ended up bending the knee of the mob, so they joined. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what, right here, right now, one of the things I'll say is Shadowrun: The Sixth World. If you know anybody who's interested, I have the core book and I have the beginner box. I will sell both. We'll call it what, $50, or we can even do a trade. I will happily trade. I don't care. Because that's one I'm also not going to be playing. I was actually going to run a game of that, but now I'm like, no, we'll leave the debate between D&D or Cyberpunk. We won't have the in between. I'm good with getting rid of it. I know the prevailing theory is, oh, they already got your money. Well, that's true, but they don't have to continue that. And I think we got as many people as we're going to get in the room today. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think Razorfist's interview with Pardo was excellent. Razorfist's interview with Pardo, I loved it. I thought it was great. And you know what? I'm glad I can say this, and I can say it with a lot of gusto, but fuck Facebook. I haven't had Facebook in 10 fucking years, and there are tons of people always trying, have been for the last 10 years. Oh, come back to Facebook. No, fuck that shit. You subject yourself to the experiments. Oh yeah. Yeah, check it out. Definitely check it out. Yeah, second edition of Shadowrun. If you know anybody, though, I know probably nobody here wants to play it, but if you know of anybody that is interested, have them contact me. Linktree, social media. I'm all over the place. I'll work out trades. I'll work out, $50, whatever. Doesn't matter. I think I paid I actually picked that up at the local gaming store, and yeah, price on that was pretty steep. So um, yeah, I'll take a trade for it. I don't mind. But anyway, if you know anybody who wants it and really really wants it at a decent price, have them contact me because I am done with Catalyst games, y'all. And here's the thing: I was actually thinking about purchasing some adventures for it, but I can play Cyberpunk and be just as happy. Besides, Cyberpunk was just in my opinion, Cyberpunk was I don't know. I've always kind of preferred Cyberpunk over Shadowrun. The only reason I even picked up Shadowrun is for those nights when a group can't decide whether they want fantasy or, you know, futuristic sci-fi, where you just put them together. I always found the premise of it a little, you know, oh yeah. Here's a good one. You ever want to know who controls you? Just look at who you're not allowed to question. By the way, while we're on this subject right here, while we're on this, let me tell you something that I've noticed, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed this either. It's only 14 days. It's just a mask. Take the damn shot. Now take this one. Now take this one. Now take this one. Now take this one. Have you noticed it just never ends? Let me tell you something. When the initial shots were coming out, lines, lines, lines. When those lines started to taper off, oh well, now we got a booster. When those lines started to taper off, oh now we can do ages 5 to 11. When those lines started tapering off, oh now a booster. Those lines started tapering off, oh now we can do toddlers. Those lines started tapering off, new shot. Come on, people. I do not have Netflix, but I have seen the ads for Edge Runners, and oh my god, that looked amazing. As a matter of fact, I haven't really watched any anime in a very long time, save for Record of Lodoss War, which was absolutely beautiful. I love that series. It is going to be one of my favorites. And the best part is it accurately reflects what basic expert D&D is like, because you start with a series of characters, the characters change. The old characters are still there, but they don't feature as prominently. And the reason they don't feature as prominently is because they've reached their level 10. You know, they've completed their arc, but they're helping the next generation. They're kind of handing off that torch. And then you get to watch another set of heroes, or this new party with their own personality quirks, go through that process. It's a beautiful thing, and I highly recommend it. I did none of that. I still test negative, but I was exposed. Okay, yeah, yeah. I've so far as I know, I've always tested negative when I have tested, and I just recently started suffering I suffered an allergy attack about a week ago, and you can hear I'm still battling sinuses. It's going to be like that for a little while. So let's see what we got. They're already talking about a microchip that will detect. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you are not implanting a goddamn thing into me over a fucking cold, y'all. There was I saw something. Oh, gosh, I don't know how long ago it was, but a guy actually ingested a Bluetooth capsule. I'm not even kidding you. Like literally popped a pill that started taking track of all his vitals. I think he was a basketball coach or something like that. And of course, he passed it, and I think that just disposes of it. And they got all these readings about his health, and I'm like, yeah, you're not doing that to me. I am not going to eat some Bluetooth device. Jeez, what is wrong with people? Yeah, it's gone crazy out there, guys. I mean, like that's why I picked up a copy of Wretched New Flesh for this very reason, just because of where I work. Like because this is a lot of like biopunk stuff. I mean, I said it before. I said it about 2, 3 years ago. We're living in a cyberpunk world. We really are, but it's completely like this isn't quite as dystopian as say Cyberpunk Red, but it's also not very bright or promising. This is not the it's not the sci-fi that we kind of thought we would be in one way or the other. I remember in the 90s, even the most dystopian of sci-fi settings still inspired hope that things could get better. You know, this does not look hopeful. So that's why I got Wretched New Flesh because I knew do, 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 um what was it? What was I saying? Wretched New Flesh because I know Miguel and Sylvia tend to kind of make a game that assumes a little bit of the worst in humanity, and that's easier for me to buy these days. It requires less of a suspension of disbelief, but I also like their take on stuff. So let's see. Kind of curious if you're going to be reading any runes today to see if it says anything about the 24th of this month. It's supposed to be some kind of 9/11 style event. Honestly, I do not have my rune set right. For me to get my rune set, I'd have to get up and go grab a set, but I had not really planned on that, and I probably should have. Um, I typically don't read for world events, and here's why. Um, I have I have done readings on this channel in the past um, that have encompassed much larger events around. Like I'll share a little secret with you. Anytime I do a reading, it's directed right at you. So whoever's watching this right now, every reading is going to be directed at you. And if it doesn't resonate with you, you will probably know someone whom it will. Here's the key thing. Sometimes some of the scariest readings that I've done have been about these major events around a person. So major events, and I mean mostly with that we're talking about like this. This is the typical scale of any reading. Just you and your immediate sphere of influence. When those spheres grow bigger, that's when I start to worry. Because right then and there, we're dealing with a lot more external factors. My readings are more about self-empowerment. So empower you, showing you where you can look to take a little bit of your power back. That's really what it's about. If you really want to know what I think about the 24th of this month, well, I'm going to say this. The 24th of this month is when, that's what, a week? That's a week from now. Okay, so a week from now, I'm hoping to actually start my next 9 days of PTO. I really am. And I'm hoping to just take it easy because work has been an absolute nightmare the last since Labor Day. So for like the last 12 days, almost 2 weeks now. But the biggest reason I don't do that is because let's just say I were to give a reading right now and it says yes, we're gonna experience a military strike in New York City. What What I think that does is it takes power out of people. It robs them of their agency. Also, let's just say I did that. What if I'm wrong? I don't think I would be. I think the runes would probably always be right, but my interpretation of them could be very, very wrong. So I don't do that. Like, there are people right now, I can tell you right now, the people you want to look at, not me on that case, because like I said, I do you. I keep this thing kind of small because you can always do something about you. You can't do shit about what happens to the rest of the world. The people that I recommend are going to be the people who are really into astrology. Um, Brian Scarborough, David Palmer, Leo King, those kinds of people, you really want to be watching them right now, especially when it comes to major events around the world, because they're looking at astrology and then they're placing it with world events. They're also looking at the last time that planets and stars were in the positions they were. Also, I can tell you this, I think we're still, if now I could be wrong here, so I'm going to say it. We are still in a sort of a like a Mercury return with the U.S. Last time we had that, there were major shifts, and this is going to be like the first one since its founding. And I think we're going to go through that throughout the year. I doubt now that I couldn't tell you for sure. I'm not a. I've got like 2 or 3 books on astrology up here. I have yet to go into them. So that's the kind of thing that I typically steer clear from. And until I can see a good reason to kind of venture out a little more, I just don't. But I will say this: anytime predictions like this come up, here's my advice: prepare, become a prepper. Okay, start by prepping for your day. Everything you need for your day. I can tell you this: the days where I'm like sweatpants and t-shirt only, I'm not going out today. Well, I can tell you this much: if something comes up and I got to go out today, now I got to get dressed. Now I got to get prepared. That's going to take me a little extra time. Typically, I'm not in that frame of none of that mode, so I really don't do that. But if you're prepared for your day, the next step is going to be prepare for your week, prepare for the next 2, prepare something for the month, prepare something for a few months, prepare for the year. As long as you're prepared, none of this should take you by surprise. And that's just my advice on it. That's how I'd look at it. Ooh, I do need to prepare another cup of tea though, so I'm gonna go ahead and kick my kettle back on. We've only been streaming for about 35 minutes, so not not a lot going on. But there is, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll say it right now since we've already been 35 minutes into it, and I think this is about as good as it gets. I have to retract something that I said about Wizards of the Coast because it's important that I do. Initially, I made the rounds and I claimed that with Wizards of the Coast, D&D Beyond, in their terms of service, I said that they put it in there that whatever you upload to D&D Beyond that's your own homebrew creation, they'll they'll basically just take it and say, oh, it's copyright to us now. Okay, that's wrong. That is completely wrong. I did look into it a little more, and they've clarified it. And it looks like I lost everybody. Wow. Okay. But anyway, because I know this is going to be like it's going to be up there on YouTube later. The clarification was that it's all open source whatever it is you upload. So when you upload something that's open source, they can use elements, they can take certain things from it, the stuff that's like not copyrighted or trademarked. That's where, especially if you're a creator and you, let's just say you post, you manage to somehow import like the Chronicles of Iris or the Doom that came to Astrius or Crown of the Oathbreaker into D&D Beyond to play there, well, they'll consider certain things open source. Just the stuff that, it's not going to really infringe on copyright or trademark. They will steer clear of anything that is copyright or trademark to you. Now, if your adventure setting or your campaign setting or whatever, if Wizards feels that it needs to be included in the canon, they'll contact you. Here's my advice. Take the offer, bring it to an attorney for a consultation. Most attorneys will actually provide you with at least a free consultation. Then take it to another attorney. Get the advice of 2 attorneys based on the initial free consultations. Come back with a counteroffer. Make sure that you have as much control as possible. Because if you don't, then they will own it, they will hollow it out, they will make it a sad shell of what it was, and you will have absolutely no say-so in it. In fact, I doubt your name will even be mentioned in the credits, and that's a sad reality, but it's true. Sorry. Had to clear my throat there. So, initially I was wrong about how Wizards of the Coast, well, you know what? Hey, that's fine, but here's the thing. I've actually thought of that one too. And let's just say Wizards looks at your counteroffer and goes, we're walking away. Cool. Guess what? You can actually use that as marketing. You can use that to market your own campaign and adventure setting, and that's going to really. Personally, I would look at something if someone said, "Well, Wizards didn't want to buy this." They made an offer that was not mutually beneficial, and I made an offer that was, and they said no. I'm backing that Kickstarter, man. I'm good with that one. I think that works. So yeah, you can use it as a little marketing. We're too hot for Wizards. Oh, you know what? I happen to agree. But like I said, I say use them as marketing. Why not? But if they entered into the arena, they can't bitch when they're getting their asses kicked occasionally. That's just my opinion there. I'm gonna. I have to stop the cam for just a minute, guys. There we go. Okay. Sorry, guys. I got a little spit bottle here off to the side. When the stuff builds up in the sinuses, I got to get rid of it. So it's a mess, and I'm not really keen on everybody, seeing me hawk a loogie into a bottle. It's just not really good. Give me just a moment here. Okay, there we go. Okay, now going with this for a moment. I've said this. D&D Beyond, they want to do microtransactions, they want to do all this other stuff. They're using Unreal Engine. They want to sell you miniatures. Now, this happens to be based in fact, so I am not in any way, shape, or form telling you anything that hasn't already happened. Number one, I don't know if anyone has ever noticed this, but Jeremy Hambley from The Quartering was kicked out, like literally lost his Magic the Gathering online account, lost it completely. And all of the sorry, trying to clear my throat is a real pain in the ass here. But all of the how am I putting this? All the cards that he had purchased, well, they're in the walled garden. He has no access to them. He had to fight tooth and nail to get his, I think, to get access to his cards so he could sell them and then take his money out of there. That is, if they want to sell you digital miniatures, I'm looking at it this way. Also, just as an aside, Hasbro, who owns Wizards of the Coast, has stated that they were looking into NFTs for Magic the Gathering and other properties, and they never specified what those other properties were. So I think it's a very safe assumption to assume that this D&D Beyond thing will be a part of it. Because if you really think about it, you want as many people into that walled garden as you can, as many people as you can get. And that's all well and good. And whatever. Guys, I'm capitalist. I'm capitalist, I'm libertarian, but there are certain things I'll look at and go, man, that's scummy. And I'm allowed to have that opinion. RPG base using NFTs? Yeah, but for a tabletop RPG, yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm looking at it this way. Especially if you want these miniatures to have any kind of value, I'm thinking they will have to sell them as NFTs. Which means some of you, if you're going to be playing D&D Beyond, you might want to think about getting yourself a hardware wallet. That way you can keep the private keys, to yourself, because there are a couple things that everybody needs to know from this point forward. And number one, they are not your keys, not your crypto. So not your keys, not your NFTs. All right. Are we very clear on that right now? There we go. I'm a little better. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera back on. So number one, not your keys, not your crypto. Also not your NFTs. So do not, if you do play D&D Beyond, and you start buying digital minis, digital terrain, blah, 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 what you're going to want to get your hands on will be a little something like this. One of these guys right here. A hardware wallet. Mine's a ledger. Yours does not have to be. Now, once you have this, what this does is it stores your digital keys. It doesn't store the miniature itself. It doesn't store the terrain. It stores the digital keys to it. Now you own those digital keys. Now you can take proper ownership. But man, look, do not for any reason leave those keys as, Wizards will take care of it. They got the keys. It's fine. No, because if some yahoo, like let's say me, hacks into that thing, guess what? I'm taking all of them, whether you agree to it or not. I keep hitting the wrong button here. But whether you agree to it or not, I'm taking everything that isn't nailed down. So that is just a little bit of security advice. Number two, going with the not your keys, not your crypto thing. There's also a concept that we in tabletop RPG circles have said, Your table, your rules, my table, my rules. There should also be a third bit of that philosophy. Not your table, not your rules. You want to play in a walled garden, you go right ahead. I'm not going there. As a matter of fact, I did pre-order the new Dragonlance because I do want to check it out. And I'm cautiously optimistic that maybe this one will work out. There's so much lore packed into Dragonlance. There's more than I even knew existed. It's it's absolutely insane. I didn't know that this was such a. I knew it was a beloved property. I just didn't realize how much. And when I first saw it in the backs of the like those back ads of comic books, I thought it was a beautiful looking setting. So I ordered this because it's set during the War of the Lance. The lore for the War of the Lance is set. Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman have done a fantastic job of it. I'm almost certain we will see the characters like Caraman, Raceland, Tasselhoff, Burfoot, Tanis, all of those guys. We will see them all. You know, even Sturm Brightblade, we will see that. The thing is, I am hoping that they did not screw this up. We saw what happened with Spelljammer. Spelljammer was awful, and also it showed something. It showed the absolute incompetence at play here, and I'm blaming Mike Mearls for this. I really am, because what happened was the Hadozi. They copied and pasted the Hadozi from second edition Spelljammer to fifth edition Spelljammer. Then they completely changed them to be this former slave race, which got everybody all upset. So if you own the Spelljammer books they released for fifth edition, if you bought them before all this hubbub, guess what? You've got collector's items. You might as well hold on to them. But they could copy and paste that and make a terrible, terrible mock-up of it. But they could not copy and paste or convert the rules for ship-to-ship combat, plus some of the other things that were missing that fans noticed. And you know what? I am totally on board with this. It's better that they don't do a thing with the old IP. Yep, I think so. And you know what? I'm good with letting it burn to the ground personally. If Dragonlance absolutely sucks, it will be the absolute, positively final time I ever give Wizards of the Coast any of my money ever. I mean, as it stands, I've already so restricted it to the point where I just don't buy anything from them anymore. I really don't. I wasn't really interested in the new Spelljammer. I just wasn't. I have the old Spelljammer, and it was in terms of interest level, it was only kind of because my suspension of disbelief only goes so far. You know, what I know about space and everything else, it's like, okay, if you're going to go through space, you might want to be enclosed in something and not on the deck of a ship that you would see on the ocean. It just didn't make sense to me. I get how it was explained to me. It was explained very well, and that's a part where I could go, okay, would I play it? Sure. Would I necessarily be excited about it? No. And yeah, same. Drowsy. That's how I was feeling after I read all that. I was like, yeah. And here's the thing: what the initial poster of the tweet that went kind of out there, was he wrong? Not necessarily. But at the same time, we've heard this apply. We've heard the cry of wolf so much that nobody cares even when a wolf shows up now. That's the corner you paint yourself into. If you're going to paint yourself into that corner, Don't expect us to come, start, oh my gosh, don't expect us to react when you cry wolf and there's a wolf there, if there's a wolf there and it's coming at you. If you've done it so many times when there's no wolf present. So I don't know what to tell him. Like, I just kind of like rolled my eyes and went, nobody cares. I didn't care. If they wanted real racism anyway, and let's face it, Watsy, who they employ, they're racist. If they really want like actual out and about, Bellamy saluting types, the new TSR, you need look no further than that. These guys are just like one step removed from Varg, for fuck's sake. I was like, oh my goodness, wow. Some of the stuff about the new Star Frontiers, Justin Lanassa, it needs to go. There's no way in hell he's going to win the lawsuit. And if he did, I would be in both shock and amazement, because this lawsuit being filed by Wizards of the Coast against the new TSR, they're right. I hate to even admit that, but they're absolutely right. The only thing that Lanassa can really do to save himself from the lawsuit is jettison all the trademarked material, jettison all the names, create new ones, you know, put a new company logo on. That is the only thing that he could do, and enjoy what little infamy he got off of it, because it's not going to last. He's not going to win that lawsuit. There's no way he has a war chest that big. I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say it. Just hate to be the bearer of bad news. Sorry, not sorry. But wow, some of the stuff that he put into the new, what was it? Star something or other. It's inconsequential anyway. I don't get behind Lanassa or the new TSR. I hope that uh, he doesn't have. Hang on a minute. Oh man. Oh, sorry guys. He doesn't have issues. He has subscriptions. Like one of the biggest complaints that I have with Lanassa was when he was doing ships, when he was posting those for this game, Star Adventures, I think it was. He's posting ships. They're just really vague in concept. People who asked him the most basic of questions about it, wanting to know more. What does he do? Goes on the attack. Great way to build up your fan base, Lanassa. Jesus. In fact, at this point, I'm good with calling Lanassa Mirror Merles. Anybody want to join me in that one? Let's all hold a moment of silence for Mirror Merles there. He's got it. I would actually back new TSR if they weren't, like this. What? What? I'm alluding to him making fun of the deceased daughter of the guy from Wizard Tower Games. Oh no, Cal, dude, you gotta like fill me in on that one. I missed that entirely. I was only paying attention to what he did in just the game space. I had no idea about that. Oh. Mm. No, man, come on. Seriously? Oh my god. The fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, seriously. That is not a good look. It's in 10 cards bids. Okay, I'll have a look at 10 cards bids then. I have not had an opportunity to sit down and watch a lot. Hang on. Okay, there we go. But no, I have not had the opportunity to really sit down and watch much this past week or so because things have, like I said, things have been ultra busy. We have been all over the place, both at work and, of course, me at home. By the time I get home, I'm like, I don't want to deal with a soul. They tried to get me to go in today. I was like, no, fuck that. That's why Tom from Tabletop. Okay, I've actually seen Tabletop Tap Room. I've seen Tom's channel. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, when one of the things that I saw his video of Lanassa attacking fans after I saw Lanassa attacking fans. It was not that long afterwards. It was nutty. I was like, dude, this guy Lanassa is nuttier than a porta potty at a peanut festival. Okay, I'm letting you know right now. We only have so much time to watch. I'm amazed that there are that. Look, I will say this: I'm amazed that there are people on Cloud Hub and BitChute, Rumble here, and Odyssey who watch my shit. And all of that amazes me. I was like, I did not expect it to go this far. I thought I'll be entertaining about maybe 10, my dozens and dozens of my watchers, and that'll be about it. Because I'm dumber than hell. That's the way I do it. But oh my goodness. Hang on. Anyway. Oh, sorry guys. My sinuses have been kicking my ass. Like ever since this morning. I woke up and I'm like, just it's nasty. See some of the other live streamers just have to get you live this morning. Yeah. By the way, thank you all for whoever's been showing up. The view counter's been going up and down, up and down, up and down. And look, I think we're coming in. We're actually in the second hour of this bad boy, like right now. So if you want to like come on and talk with me, so that I'm not like talking to myself the whole time, I'm really good with it. I'm still, believe it or not, I am still. Yeah, my voice is getting rougher because it gets dry as time goes on. So yeah, that's why I'm like drinking. Well, I'm drinking tea anyway. But yeah, it's because I'm not gonna lie, I've been shooting saline solution up my nose a lot the past couple of days. And I haven't had any like Sudafed this morning, so I mean I can still kind of breathe, so I'm fine. Don't need a Sudafed, and I don't want to take anything if I don't have to. So anyway, I figured, hey, we've still got I think another hour or so, and if anybody wants to hop on and yak with me, just throw a hand up or something like that, and I can host like 5 other people, so it's all good. Oh, what else do we have? Morning, Eric. Eric's tuning in while he's at work. Dude, that's amazing. Honestly, I've seen people tune into stuff while they're at work, but I never do. And what's the topics? Anything we want to talk about, dude. Anything at all. And we can talk about. I mean, we've already covered Lanassa. We've covered Wizards of the Coast. So I think we've gotten enough coverage on my channel, unless you have some new information. But yeah, I do recall seeing some. I will say this: I recall seeing some copies of new TSR's space game, like actual physical copies. And to be honest, they look like what you would do if you sent the PDF to printme1.com and had them printed up, which is what I did with Tim Harper, his Mega Dungeon Mercanto's Lair. I had that printed up at printme1.com. It was a very reasonable price, and I just wanted to see it, in hard copy, and that way I could use it in like a Basic Fantasy or Dungeon Crawl Classics. It would actually be perfect for DCC because it's so weird. And Harper's work is awesome, but he is one twisted cat. And you know what? My hat's off to him. I really enjoy the method that he uses to put his version of Twisted out there. Oh yeah, I think so too. I think new TSR in my opinion is going down. They don't have any legal claim to any of the stuff that they're using. They don't have any right to use the logos or any of the trademarked or copyrighted material that they do. It looks, and honestly, I think it's a tactic that's not going to serve them well, because what I think the tactic is, well, let's have Wizards go after us. We'll lose in court, but then they're trying to use it as a publicity machine. If you completely get what I mean here, that's exactly what I think they're trying to do. And can I fault them for using such a sleazy tactic? Not really, but I can fault them for some of the shit they've done. And I have to wonder, when the new TSR was announced, I think that's where Giant Lands was going to come from, and then suddenly Gygax isn't on board anymore. Now it's called Wonderfield, but there's a new TSR still. I was just kind of like, wow, that really escalated quickly. And I don't know anyone who bought Giant Lands. I'm still kind of waiting on if anyone I know actually picked it up. I wonder, is it worth the $75 to $80 they're charging for it? Because I'll be honest with you, I could spend 50, get Castles and Crusades, and probably be just as good. And I probably don't even need to spend that. I've got Mutant Crawl Classics and I've got Mutant Chronicles, so I don't know why I would need another version of Gamma World. I also have Starship Warden and Metamorphosis Alpha. It just makes sense to kind of do it that way too. Oh wow. Kind of shows me what NASA doesn't think. If he does, he doesn't do it well. So there we go. But yeah, sad little fact there. New TSR destroyed before it ever got off the ground. And that's the sad part, is it could have done something based off brand recognition alone. Could have gone so many places, could have actually gone into the arena, eventually shed the TSR thing. Now they're a new company. Maybe they just become Wonderfield later and they go to battle against Wizards of the Coast. Could have happened. They really should have gotten rid of them. They should have alienated Lanassa first. You know what? No, he hasn't hurt any of the OSR because he's an idiot. And it's very easy to renounce an idiot like that. Yeah, he's an idiot suffering Napoleon syndrome, and I'm good with just saying, you know what? Fuck Justin Lanassa. He has like He has no claim to the entirety of the OSR. In fact, he's a fraud. And I think most of us are good with shunning him just based on that alone. I wonder what it would be like if Lanassa and Varg got together, though. What would that look like? Oh, what's the difference between Justin Lanassa and Varg? Charisma. Oh, well, fuck that. You know what? Fuck that. I don't care what they. Most of the really extreme lefty weirdos associate me with Varg. Uh, I don't care what they think. I'm not currently creating anything for them. Yeah, I'll just be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. With the horror game that I'm currently working on right now, and all it is just in the note stages right now. I'm just taking notes on every kind of phobia I can come up with. Um, so there will be phobes in this game, but they will not be what you think. There is not going to be a session zero. There's not going to be such a thing as really lines are going to be what the table agrees on. So my point with this game is play with people you absolutely positively trust. Get to know the people that you're playing with before you introduce them to this game. And the game can be turned up as loud or as softly as you want. Completely up to you. You can, and I'm going to leave an out to where you can run a children's version of this game. So you could spring the Wolfman on them. You can spring this monster or that monster on them. But it's really going to be aimed more at adults. It's just you can modify it as you want, like Gaslands. Gaslands, that's where I got that concept from. Was you could sit there and craft these like Hot Wheels cars into these death machines, or if you feel it's a little too violent for your kids, then you could just go buy regular stock cars and Indy cars, do the death race rules, take death out of the title, and you just have them, throwing dice and racing and occasionally crashing. Well, let them believe it. They're gullible and easily led, my opinion. I mean, if I were wearing Mjolnir right now, which I'm not, most of these extreme lefty weirdos, if they were to see that, you could see them, and I live around some of them, you could see some of them. Their reaction is pure gold. They look at it, they see me, then they hear my accent, and you could see in their eyes they are tearing themselves apart. They're too afraid to ask a question. They're too afraid to ask what it is around my neck. But they don't want to be that person. They don't want to be the person that needlessly, goes after somebody unwarranted, but they don't want to hang around with a potential bigot. It's so funny. And I do absolutely nothing for them because it's like, hey, I know exactly who I am. I know who I make get, I know who I create for. And that's the point. And that's why even on my channel, like I got away from a pagan group because every time I turned around, it was they had a problem with something, whether it was a title or an explanation on a card or that's not enough. I let the that's not enough thing go 3 times before I called it quits. Like I said, my tarot and stuff, that's all about empowering the person or at least showing the person where they can empower themselves. That's what it's about. The group kind of held on to this whole victim mentality. And there was even an article where a couple women claiming to be of Romani descent said that tarot was closed to white people. And they demanded that people like me go and burn all my cards. And they're like, oh, you have Oracle cards. You could use those. Oh, yeah, runes. You could use those. Tarot's closed. Well, I haven't taken notice. And that was, in my opinion, that is racist. That is textbook racism. And the rest of the group just did not agree. I was like, really? And they went as far as defending what these two women had to say, even though their history of tarot was completely wrong on every level. This was an article full of misinformation. I was just like, I was sitting there like this, going, oh, man, I'm not going to last long. I'm really not with this group. And the thing is, it didn't really bother me all that much. Like once I had actually left, I was any kind of agony, any kind of anxiety about it. I was suffering. It went away. Yeah, like that. Like the day I left Facebook, anxiety gone. So won't name them either. Exactly. Jesus. Yeah. It got really weird, guys. I'm telling you. And it never ends. It never ends with these people because that's why I've always said, and I think we're kind of coming up into 1 hour. Have I gone a full hour here? Jeez. Oh, I've actually gone. I've gone about an hour and a half now. Yeah, Jesus. Really. There we go. Pardon me. You know what? I'm probably gonna after this. I'm probably gonna swing down and grab some cough drops or something, and just kind of help out. But anyway, sorry about the constant camera pauses. It's just sinuses are killing me right now. But yeah, stuff like that. This is a good quote to keep in mind. When everything that you can do is not good enough for someone, just do nothing for them. And by that I mean, like, if someone you're trying your best to kind of help a person or a group of people along, and oh no, that's not enough, and they're making demands, cease. Like literally, just walk away. Fuck that. No way. No thanks. Walk away. People, I'm telling you right now, if someone out there is calling you their ally, it's a very, very pretty sounding euphemism for this person is a useful idiot and I get to discard them one way or the other once my goals are achieved. They will never count you among their friends. And if you really want to, all right, if you really want to know exactly what it is they think of you, start asking questions. I'm serious. Just start questioning them to some little degree and keep adding to that little degree. It won't take you long. You'll hit that first landmine and it'll be your last. I know because I've done it hundreds of times. It never stops for some reason. But the longer you can push it, go ahead and push it. Like I said, just little bits, incrementally, until you hit that landmine. Then you're like, well, it didn't take you long, because it won't. I could tell you, you could see just about anywhere I post. I'm that guy that's the litmus test here, because I can tell you, I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other sites that claim to be free speech, and oh my goodness, yeah, you can find out who. Oh, Twitter and Facebook, they were taking away my free speech. Okay, yeah, I agree, and to be honest, some of them were warranted. I'm not gonna lie, some of them were. Some people were just so visceral that there was no talking sense to them. And yeah, some of them got kicked off for good reason. Others were kicked off for very, very stupid, very flighty reasons. And I will agree that those people were kicked. A lot of those people were kicked off unfairly, but some of them were Justin Lanassa types. Some of them were, but I will say this: like when Varg was on YouTube, I didn't see anything particularly about his videos that was particularly hateful. But what I did see, he kept he did make the little thinly veiled references every once in a while, but he he stayed pretty controlled. Now once he was, hang on, um, hey, give me just okay. That kind of came with a bit of a nasty cough there. Sorry. Anyway, he was very much self controlled. Once he's on BitChute, he was out in the open. I mean, he just and it's one of those things where you know I'm going to get to this in just a second, but yeah, once you start pushing, um, like when you push the actual what I like to call the actual problem children off your platform, you know, as long as the rules are applied evenly, I don't know, you know, it's your platform, your rules, fine, whatever. Once you start pushing them off for the very appearance of it, this kind of flee from all appearances of evil kind of thing, I'm going to question it. I'm really going to question it. It's like, wait a minute, hold up. You know, all this dude said was this. Now you're reading into too much of what he said. I have seen that before. RPG Elite, I like him. He's against all the bullshit in gaming, but I don't agree with his Elite take. I haven't run into his Elite take. I've seen his video on why most black people don't play role playing games. I've seen that. What I couldn't believe was that the anti D&D thing actually started in black churches, which is what he pointed out. And I was like, fucking seriously, I did not know that. That was a brand new revelation to me. I appreciate that. I do agree with him on the bullshit in gaming. Um, but I'm at the point where I have to agree with what Razorfist says when he says indifference. You know, don't watch it. Don't hate watch it. Don't hate play it. Don't, in fact, don't give it anything. Give it no money, give it no air, give it no time, give it no space. It will die on its own. I mean, the thing might exist, but without feeding it, it ends up dying. And they can blame, you know, hey, Amazon can blame me all they want. Amazon can call me whatever they want, and all I got to offer them is a Scott Hall. Ooh. That's it. Because that's all that they have. The fact is, I'm not interested. So I don't watch it. What was this other one? Warrior Queen or whatever? I'm just not interested. Like it does not pique my curiosity. It doesn't pique my interest. So I don't watch it. I don't watch it. I don't review it. And hey, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If your property, if whatever it is you're putting out there is shitty and it's earning a shitty review, don't be sitting there going, they're review bombing it. No, they're not review bombing it. You made a shitty TV show. You made a shitty movie. Look, I watch tons of really terrible movies. You want access to my Plex server? You want to see what that's like? Oh yeah. I got movies on there people look at and go, oh, why? I'll tell you why. Because a couple of my friends and I love to riff on those movies. It's a lot of fun for us. I would actually start a channel based around us riffing movies, but Riff Tracks already has it. Mr. Science Theater 3000, I think, is still back on Netflix. I don't have Netflix, so I can't watch any of that stuff. And I only have so much space left on my hard drive for TV shows. Still got plenty of space left on the hard drive for movies, but TV shows is a different thing. I've got to take something off in order to put something else on. It's just kind of the limited nature of things for me right now. But I'll tell you what, Cal, let's go back to this for a second. I do want to discuss this one with you. What is his elite take? Because, like I said, I've never run into it. I've seen, like I said, I've seen a few of his videos. I do like those takes. I like this game for this reason. I like this system for this reason, so on and so forth. I love it when he does stuff like that. I haven't really sat down to watch his elite take. So, or maybe I missed it. I don't know. If it's one of those, here's how to make your game the bestest ever. He has elite rules for gaming. Okay. Well, my question is, do they work for him? Because if they do, all I got to say to that is, maybe they won't work for me, but my dude, if they work for you, sorry, I got to kickstart the tea kettle again. If they work for you, I'm all for them. I'll tell you, it's hours long. Yes. Okay. Well, I'll check it out when I got that much time. But I'll tell you my absolute favorite part of this hobby is this, like literally just crafting stuff. This, and I know the light behind me is just shit, but when you take Skeletor and turn it into something like this, I don't know if I can even get focused on it, but this is going to be an iron statue inside of like a fortress or something like that. And then I've got a couple of these that I'm going to turn into statues as well. I can't rebase this because I don't have a base big enough, so I'm just going to flock this base maybe. I don't know. I might wait until I can get some bases, but I got a couple of those. Hey, you know what? Hey, that's life though. Here I am. I'm 43 years old. I'm going to be 45 in like 10 days. Oh, no, these little guys right here, believe it or not, $1.25 at the dollar store. They have little Masters of the Universe minis. And I took the first one I did, I actually had this one, and the hand was already broken. So what I did was I cut, and here's the only problem: the staff, his Havoc staff, kind of curves a little bit. Go this way. Okay, so his Havoc staff curves a little bit, and it's literally stuck to the base. But the hand was broken, and that was the only thing keeping it on was that Havoc staff. So I took him, and I just cut it. My dollar stores don't get stuff that I see from gamers. Well, believe it or not, let me show you something. Well, anyway, I cut the hand off to lay it down on the base and glued it in. And then I just painted him up. I put some, I have some like little skulls that I bought from, those are 3D printed skulls I bought from a guy on Etsy. They fit perfectly in the hand. I just glued them in. And a lot of trial and error trying to get the flocking to stay and all that good stuff. But anyway, basically it is, and I like to refer to this as, oh yeah, and the cape I made from literally a piece of cardboard. And I glued a couple beads in to make it look like anchor points for his cape. And it went from dollar store drab to tabletop rad, in my opinion. So that's going to be a statue. I don't know whether he's alive or not. That will be totally up to a dice roll, I imagine, when our heroes come upon it. But let me, I also have Cyborg looks like he'd make a great wizard statue, so I'm probably going to turn him into a wizard. Um, this Superman figure looks like he'd be a good despotic tyrant, possibly. What I really want to get, I want to get a couple more of these armored Batman figures because I really would not have to alter very much at all to turn these into statues. And I was thinking maybe even get another Wonder Woman or two just to kind of turn those into goddess statues. I did. This is going to crack some people up, but I am going to turn her into an evil goddess. I'm taking that soccer ball out, and I'm going to be putting a skull underneath her foot. This one I'm going to turn into possibly a goddess in favor of our heroes. So there we go. I think these are. I think it does not say, but yeah, probably about 42 millimeter. I mean, when you put a D&D mini next to them, they look like very large statues. So you could take the Barbies do look larger, but they're not really. They're larger than as a matter of fact, the Justice League figures are larger than the MOTU figures. But imagine you put a couple of these armored Batman figures standing sort of like this, just outside the town gates, right? Center of town, you've got a statue of, this guy. Or alternately, you got a couple barbarians at your gate, literally barbarians at the gate, just kind of like on either side. And then this guy in the middle, in the town square. However you want to do it. And you can't go wrong for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, man. So occasionally I jet on down to the Dollar Tree and just see what they got. And if they got some, I'll load up on a few. And some of the other ideas I've got, I'm going to kit bash these Final Faction figures, these colossal badass, things. And I've got 4 different types of these figures. So these things look like something out of Doom. So that's where I'm going with them. But yeah, you got guys like this, and I got accessories for the bits. Why does this town survive with such a small guard company? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But these are going to be from some kind of abysmal pit or something. And I'm going to be crafting them so that they can be used in Basic Fantasy, D&D, DCC, MCC even, and possibly even Starship Warden. Because I think they can be pretty great universal monsters. And I'm not talking Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, any of those. I'm talking like just monsters that can be used anywhere. Well, that's kind of what I was thinking, was like I have Magic the Gathering Arena of the Planeswalkers, and I've got the miniatures from those. The Liliana action figure, I'm thinking will probably be one of the first real big bads that my adventurers go after. Definitely going to change her name, but going to use the figure and probably the stat blocks on the card. Yeah. They make great miniatures. They are exactly to scale. But I thought about it and have the party chase her, and she unleashes stuff like like this thing first, followed by that thing next, which you could see the size comparison. The disparity is kind of noticeable. Then you got that big horn thing that I showed you earlier. So this big guy here. And then, of course, big Hellion, right there. Now, I'd have to stat block those. But first things first, I got to get them. Got to get them taken apart, cleaned up, cut up. 58. Yo. Yeah. Man, look. Let me say this. That actually speaks to the longevity of these games and why people still play them when there's video games, computer games. Um, some of these games are timeless. Some of these games are just still absolutely go on forever. And I think John over at the Basic Expert channel was right when he said, why has this game survived for 50 years? Because of the adventure, because of the heroics. On top of that, if you're the only one at your workplace that games, you're going there. None of them know about the heroic acts you did over the weekend. None of them know that you might have been the MVP in that one adventure. Yeah, same. I'll play newer stuff with a good group. Timeless themes, and that's it. And that's why I say if you have to play D&D 5th edition, no problem there. I really like. I've got nothing against those first 3 core rule books. I've got nothing against those. I've got nothing against the, what was it, pre-2017 on back adventures. I have nothing against those. But when you start getting into Strixhaven and Radiant Citadel and all that shit, it's like, why are you even here? Why play? Why roll up a character? Your character's going nowhere. That makes no sense. Especially Radiant Citadel. Radiant Citadel needs someone to sit. You know what? Here's the thing. Okay, Anita Sarkeesian, you demand to have that job created for you as a consultant to them over Game X or whatever. That's cool. We need to have Econ 101 professors, people who just know economics, sit on a game of Radiant Citadel and say that's why it won't work. Yeah, those tariffs, they're going to drive those people right back out of that portal. 3 older players, DM being 45. Nothing wrong with that. Experienced DMs, man. I will say this: I spent a lot of my time playing what little I got to. But I'm thankful for each and every one of those experiences because they helped me learn something from my storytellers and DMs. I learned from them. I learned a great deal from them. And the sad fact of the matter is I don't know if Josh and Andy are out there watching. Those are 2 of the guys I played under. I've even played under a guy who was like complete shit at what he did. And it was the one game I literally got walked out of. I was so sick of it. Like I rolled on a character. I was trying to kill my character off. I was actively pursuing death just so I could get the hell out of there. And he kept negating me. And I was like, oh, fine. And every time I went to say something, the whole group just jumped in. And finally it got to the point where I was like just sitting there with my character sheet and I just got it, walked off. I spent about an hour playing video games before they figured out I was not there and wasn't interested. And this was happening at my place. I was like, Well, y'all go ahead. It just, and he got so pissed off at me that whenever the whole group started doing this thing again, they managed to get me back to the table. How, I don't remember, but they started to chatter again, and he would stop them all and say, "Well, let's hear what he has to say." And then everybody's turning their heads toward me. I'm like, "You motherfucker!" He only ever hosted that one game at my house. He he never he never came back for a new game. He never hosted a game at my place again. After that game, Andy stepped in, and I got to see really how fun VTM could be. That was my first game of VTM. It was so horrible. I literally got up from the table. It was terrible. This guy had no prep. He was just going to play it all by ear, and I'm like, he created a setting that was just completely antithetical to the people, the characters we created. We created these characters. He wanted us to be a special ops team. How do you get a musician who plays dive bars into being a special ops team? It didn't make any sense. So learned a lot from him too. You really do have to craft a story or setting where you kind of anticipate what kind of characters you're going to accommodate. A lot of fun times. Very, very few, if any, bad times. We did have to kick a player once. A player named Paul got kicked from my D&D group and from my Magic the Gathering table. No kidding. Guy suffered major main character syndrome. Would not stop. We warned him repeatedly, and then our DM, without really letting us know what was going on ahead of time, after multiple complaints about this guy, finally said, "Okay, I'll take care of it. I'll handle it." So we thought he was just going to, give him the final warning and everything. No, that didn't happen. Our DM anticipated, based on his history, a very stupid move he would pull, and sure enough, he pulled it, and his character got annihilated. It was so bad. I remember kind of thinking, I'm kind of rooting for this guy now. I'm in the Northeast right now. I used to live in the South. Worst mistake I ever made was moving to the Northeast. I do let people know I am in New Jersey, and that alone is a mistake. If you're thinking about moving to New Jersey, do not. Personally, I still think that because I live in New Jersey, I should probably go to Leonardo and see the quick stop where Clerks was filmed. Also, kind of like to see the mall where Mallrats was filmed if it wasn't just a big set. Oh yeah. In my area, I'm so close to Philadelphia that let me tell you, I had a pre-coof. I actually got to sit down and play some D&D with some people, and it wasn't so horrible that I got up and left. It was just bad enough to where I went home after the game and tossed my character sheet. When the next session came up, I called up our DM, and I remember telling him, listen, things at work have kind of progressed, and I'm not going to be able to make any future sessions moving forward. I really don't want to waste anyone's time. So if you have to replace me or you have to write me out, that's fine. I really appreciate the the opportunity to play. It was fun. I had a great time. I just I really have to kind of bow out. Unfortunately, real life is just getting in the way, you know. And he was really nice about it. Would I play with that DM again? Yes, he was good. It was his players that were that were just insufferable to the point where I was like, I don't want to be involved with this group. And afterwards, I felt like I started getting really serious about tabletop gaming in the last like couple of years, and that's when I discovered, hey, there are more of my types of players online than there are in the real world. So I kind of go with that, and yeah, I've had more fun. Like tonight, I'm going to be in DM Blackwall's game on the basic server, the Gilded server. We're going to be playing in there. We're going to be playing Horde Wars. After 3 weeks, my character makes a comeback. Finally gets to come back. It was an unexpected takeout of me for a while, but now I'm back, hopefully permanently, hopefully for a very long time. If not, well, I may have to vacate it and let somebody else fill in the role. But I get to play it one more time, so yeah. I've also played another cyberpunkish type game called Electric Sheep, which was, so far it hasn't exactly been very cyberpunk, but um, it's been more like running around like a mercenary, doing mercenary shit. So it's okay. I don't mind it. It's yeah. I think we still need a dwarf. I don't know. I don't know if Blackwall has effectively filled that role yet or not. But I don't know. Check it out. I don't know if he's still got a couple roles open. I've talked about it on my Twitter before, and hopefully somebody picked it up. Yeah, it tastes good. But anyway, we are coming up on time here. Last 15 minutes, and I've had a great time. But man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the response to this one's going to be like. Because wow, we've kind of gone on a long time. Yeah, my voice has been getting kind of rough. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take some time, let my voice heal. Maybe I'll do soup for maybe I'll do soup for lunch. I don't know. What do you think? A little soup for lunch? I'm thinking so. Kind of got a craving for my chicken ramen again. Don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I know there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I cannot remember for the life of me what it was. This is typical. I need to start making notes, but this the schedule change kind of happened a little impromptu, so I didn't have a lot of time to prep this one. Oh yeah, I've been hanging out in Second Life again. I did that for a little bit, and ended up getting sucked into a sci-fi RP. Apparently, just the mere existence of my character and telling a friend about it, she was like, "Hey, we've kind of painted ourselves into a corner. Your character might be able to get us out. Are you up for it?" I was like, "What do you got?" And so we met aboard my ship and talked it over. And we're going to start introducing my character pretty soon. I'm also trying to import the same character from Second Life into like Classic Traveler, and maybe I can join in a game of that, or Star Adventurer by RPG Pundit, which it's so rules light and it's so good. I literally read it in one sitting and I was like, yeah, I can totally get down with this. This is awesome. And it doesn't need to be much. Can't wait for the next Cowpunchers game. That's going to be cool. I really can't wait for Wretched New Flesh. Or not Wretched New Flesh. Wretched New Flesh is coming at Wretched Space. I cannot wait for Wretched Space, man. I know Garrison Graves, the space smuggler, would be perfect in that game. I don't need to see the entire thing to tell you that. I mean, the Wretched verse does tend to use that seven deadly sins rule and use it well. So if you haven't checked it out, I recommend it. Uh, Other titles. You know what? Come to think of it, I did purchase The Invisible College. I purchased the Kindle edition. I regret it. Not because of the material in the book, it's because the way it's formatted. The pages in between covers are formatted for like the little Kindle Paperwhite device, and it's hard to read on that thing. Trying to read it on my Kindle Fire tablet, I have to keep pinching and zooming, and that is irritating as fuck. Honestly, I really wish I'd just purchased the PDF and read it that way. But I thought I was going to be better off getting the Kindle version because the Kindle version will at least hold your place when you close it. Lion and Dragon and Silk Road only do the printed products. Yeah, you know what? I would love to do printed products, but let me show you something. I'm going to pull these up real quick and I'm going to do a share screen because, whoa, holy shit. Okay. That one first. And then I think it's, yeah, this one next. Okay, here we go. Sharing screen. We're gonna cap it off with this. All right, let's share the screen. All right. Okay. All right, so here we are. This is my, well, you can see right here. I got Osric, Lamentations for Golden Glory. I got 2 copies of the DCC RPG book because one's the soft cover. I got this hardcover that I found for a really good price. MCC. I got my basic fantasy over here at the end. Of course, what was it? DCC, MCC dice, Tunisborg up here, like white box. My battle mat, which my battle mat has my DM screens and shit in there. So, and then up here, it's all D&D, literally every bit of it, except for Chronicles of Iris sitting right here. That's the first cabinet. Second one, here we go. So I got my modern age books there: Mutant Chronicles, Amazing Adventures, Starship Warden, and Crown of the Oathbreaker. My 2 absolute biggest. You know, I got these 3 books here, which I think one of them is Cowpunchers, the other Star Adventurer. I forget what that third one would be. But Gas Laser Fuel, you see it right there. Up here, I got my Fabled Lands series. I got the whole. I think it's only 7 books, but I got them all. And then over here, Actual Fucking Monsters and the stuff that Miguel wrote for that. Then Wretched Bastards going on back. Got some Tin Candles, Night Witches, Classic Traveler, a few others. And if you look back here, I have others. I got Cyberpunk 2020 in red. I got Alien back here. So these books that you see here are in front of other stuff back here. Box sets mostly. And I got more books on the way. If that tells you anything. And my miniatures, they're not in there. I've got my miniatures are actually under the coffee table. And I've got some miniatures that I did flocking on a couple days ago that I need to put away. Some more I need to work on. Oh, man, the never-ending search for shelf space, and you would not believe the fancy footwork I had to do to create what I did. Plus 15,000 miniatures. Cal, I gotta ask you. Like, I know we're a little past the 2 hour mark, but I gotta know something. How in the how long did it take you to amass that many miniatures? Because I mean, 15,000 minis, dude. I don't know if I could even handle that much. I mean, I thought I was pushing it with the amiibos I kept collecting. 26 miniatures and more terrain. So you still have stuff from like the time you started gaming. That is insane. That is crazy. That is bonkers. Like seriously, that's seriously bonkers. But you know what? Hey man, I gotta hand it to anyone who's done this, especially as long as you. You know, when you've held on to all that material all this time, bro, I raise my cup to you, man, because that's awesome. That is truly awesome. All right, but you know what? We're past the time now. But you've seen my cabinets are pretty much stuffed to the gills. I don't think I could put another thing in there, and I still got more books on the way. So I'm thinking I might take that entire cabinet and replace it with like IKEA shelves or something like that. Because I do have my printer on top of there. I got my tea kettle on top of there. I think it's probably time I got something that would be comparable, but I don't know what yet. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Guys, it has been absolutely awesome hanging out with all of you. Thank you guys for showing up. You got an entire condo. I got two little cabinets, bro. And there's not another wall I can put a shelf on, trust me. But thank you guys so much for showing up. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you for sharing videos. Thank you for coming because it means a hell of a lot to me. Just remember, I'm going to close it out like I always close out all of my videos. I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. And as always, shine on.